Okay, so we are now ready to move on to our next session. And that is going to be conversations and an AMA with Adobe Design Circle Scholars. So I would now like to invite Tara Knight to come on the stage, if you will, and I will hand it over to Tara. Thank you, Tara.
Thank you. And I don't know if it's Andrea or Andrea, but thank you so much.
Sure, it's Andrea. Thanks for asking.
Yes, and I'm Tara. Hi, everyone. We're so pleased to be with y'all today. I'm honored to be here and to kick off this panel that I'm soon going to hand over to my friends, Lauren, Maxwell, and Micaiah. I'm Tara, and I work at Adobe leading design education, advocacy, and partnerships. One of the programs I look after is the Design Circle, and Adobe launched the Design Circle in 2019, which is a collective of design leaders from companies, brands, agencies who share a commitment to advocate for diversity in the industry and drive positive social impact in their own work, as well as extend opportunities to underserved, underrepresented communities and talent. So out of that desire to impact emerging designers, we created the Design Circle Scholarship. And this is for undergraduate students pursuing design. The 27 Design Circle members review the submissions from applicants all over the globe. And chosen scholars receive up to $25,000 per year for their undergrad education, up to 4 years of undergrad study. And we're here to let you all know that applications are open right now for 2022 to 2023 school year. And the applications are closing March 14th. So maybe we've got some people out here who are students or educators who can spread the word to students who might be interested in this opportunity. And perhaps the most valuable element of this scholarship is the one-on-one mentorship that scholars receive from the professionals that make up the Design Circle. So today we're going to hear from a few of our current scholars, that is Lauren, Maxwell, and Micaiah, who are here with me, and who are going to talk about their experience so far with regard to mentorship and how their design interests are taking shape. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because we do have some visuals here that we wanted to share to just give a little picture of these fine students. Let me share my screen. This will just take a moment if it's gonna let me, and if it doesn't, we can continue on. Let's see here. See if it's gonna be okay. And I know we had to cut off some capabilities here, but let's see how this looks. And Lauren, maybe you can tell me, let me know if you can see that.
We can't see it yet.
Okay, hold on. Do some quick permissions. And we're going to skip that because I'm not going to stop my Zoom. And that's okay. Beautiful visuals. We'll have to just not include those. So Lauren, as our senior member of the group, and you're a podcast host among many other talents, why don't you take the lead here? Tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm sorry we can't share your beautiful work that that kind of represents you, but we can see that glorious background too that tells us about you too. So,
you know, right? The art explains it all. So hello, everyone. My name is Lauren Ortega. I'm located in Maryland, technically the DMV area. That's where I like to say I'm from. I'm also a junior at SVA, School of Visual Arts, which is located in New York. And a couple of things about myself. Besides going to school, I founded Ello Design Studio, which is basically a design studio meant to help creatives and provide design resources for those who need it. And I also have an interest in making and creating many things such as collages, typography, as you can see from the artwork behind here. And also I have an interest in learning motion and UX design. And that is just an overall background of me. And as far as my podcast, so the podcast is called Ello Designs Podcast, which is the idea behind of talking about the struggle of a graphic designer or a creative. And it's mainly to help the mental health of other designers. And that's basically the goal I try to achieve when talking and explaining all these talks. So it's an overview of me.
Yeah, my name is Maxwell. I'm a freshman at Lesley University. It's in Cambridge. And I also have an interest in pursuing UX design. And I really learned about UX design from a program called Innovate to Purpose that helps high school students do real life client work projects for real clients. And the projects we got to do, originally it was for like real clients, but then we started pushing towards solving real issues. And throughout that experience, it allowed me to really understand that I can use design for change. And that's what I want to pursue in further education in undergrad. So yeah, I don't know where where I would be without it. And it's definitely been very grateful for like my experience and what I could do in Adobe scholarship. And yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Micaiah John. I'm a freshman at Syracuse University. I'm from London, in the United Kingdom, and I'm an acting major. And I started my creative journey with photography. I was a resident photographer for the Global Purpose Enterprise, which is a company that helps support sort of young Black people and young people of color to basically discover their purpose and discover sort of where they want to go in life. And they do that through events. They have a podcast. And so I got in through the Purpose Mentorship and Purpose Leaders, which are two different events that sort of focus on that. And I'm definitely sort of I have three different creative avenues. So I have photography, graphic design, and acting. So I think where I'm looking to go in my creative journey is definitely seeing how those three mediums can work together in unison. And I'm really excited to see how that goes.
Awesome. I'm just going to let you all know I'm going to stop my video because I want to focus on the three of you, and I'll be here watching the chat, and I might throw you a question or two from the chat. But Lauren, this is your show. Take it away.
Okay, thank you. Thank you again. So I just wanted to ask you both, as far as starting out, especially with how has the internship or the mentorship and scholarship helped you in a way, and how are your lives, before the scholarship? Either one can go first. Maxwell, you can go first. And Micaiah, you can go second.
Yep. So the scholarship mentorship has helped me a lot because I can reach out. The mentorship is really different from our professors because they have this experience they can share in real world application, which I really think that's valuable because when you can do things in real world, you can apply it to many things. And I've also been able to reach out. I've also been able to reach out for advice for personal projects because in UX design, it's really hard, especially as a freshman. It's a very competitive and difficult field. So having that just encouragement from my mentor to really stir me in the right direction, it's really positive. And yeah, there's definitely a lot of value in that. And I'm really grateful for my mentor.
Okay, Micaiah.
And for my for life after before the scholarship, it was more challenging because you don't have access to people at that high level. So even then I still grinded and made sure to do things every day, but there's definitely a sense of okay, you have support, you have much more support with the mentorship.
Okay. And Micaiah,
Yeah, just echoing what Maxwell said, I think it's the access that you have to people who are at high positions in the industry that you'd like to go into, from people in that industry seeming so far away to them being an email or a text message away is definitely a huge difference. And I just think being on the radar of people at Adobe and just being like for example, over the winter break, I was just like given a ticket to the Sundance Film Festival, because they knew I was an acting major and they knew that that was something that would really benefit me. And so just having, access to things like that and having people that you can easily reach out to is just has made such a difference. Um, and I think like before the scholarship, uh, it was just sort of difficult to like reach out to people, especially like on like LinkedIn. Like if you've got the like Adobe on your LinkedIn, you'll be very surprised how many people you then just have access to because they can see that you're sort of attached to that. So that's also really interesting. And just like inspiration um, has just been like so accessible. Just being able to like having someone who's available to talk through your like wacky ideas that you haven't really like thought through yet, even when there's like nothing solidified, but having someone there to talk through that with you is just like completely different to what I had access to before the scholarship.
I think that's beautiful. I could say same experience as far as before and after the scholarship. Before, so I'm a junior, so like my experience with going into my freshman year, I was really like struggling, like trying to figure out, who to connect to, who to network with, especially COVID. Once COVID hit, during my sophomore year, I knew it was really hard to network with people. And I started doing LinkedIn, and LinkedIn was really like a great platform for me to network with other individuals. But with the scholarship, it's not just about the scholarship that helped. There was more of the mentorship that came with it that made me feel like, having that network platform and building that community sense, other than school, I feel like that gave me a lot more confidence and a lot more, position to feel like I can network with so many people and it's at the bit of my fingertips. I just have to reach out. And as far as COVID in general, what were you guys' experience? Because I feel like the scholarship recipients from this year, it was kind of difficult because we had to go and we had to sit through COVID. But how has your experience been with COVID and, trying to still network, trying to still connect with other people? I'm sure the mentorship has helped, especially, but how has you guys' experience been with COVID, during this time within school too?
With my experience with COVID, when it first happened, when we got locked down in school, it allowed me to, because there's so much more free time, it allowed me to stay in like my room, like in a box, right, and really focus on like what I'm passionate about. And a lot of that, even though it wasn't people, they were out doing partying and having fun. It really, my work showed as a good return on investment. I was really able to like put my head down and really focus when I had to focus. And those projects became they gave the return on investment was into scholarships, and the scholarships have gave me those mentorships and the opportunities that many people don't really have. So that's why I put that's what's great about the COVID experience. It was a blessing in disguise, I have to like to say.
Yeah, I think just a similar thing. I was just stuck in my room for an extended period of time. And looking back on that time, I did so much of what I loved doing, especially like on the acting side, because my application process for college was done completely on Zoom, and I didn't get to see the college at all. I didn't get to meet anybody in person, but I did so much acting and scene study and script reading and just everything that I love about the craft. So I think it was sort of a blessing in disguise. I think with photography and like getting inspiration, I like to like and design as well. I like to go out into the world and like experience things for myself. So I think it was difficult to adapt to not being able to go out. But it just opened up so many more opportunities to like figure out what I can do in my room, in my own space for myself.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm more of like, I wouldn't say I'm an introvert or extrovert. I feel like I'm both. But I would same experience, but I would say it was a blessing in disguise. At first I was like so upset. I was like, why am I sitting in my room? I went to college like for a reason. But then I started noticing the work that we do and having to have more time to focus on projects or learning about productivity, how to work a certain way, or trying to figure out the projects when each project needs to get in time. And Micaiah, you also mentioned that you do multiple things like acting and photography. How do you balance that work to life balance out within that? And like, trying to work that out. I feel like being a college student is so hard in itself, but trying to do multiple things as well as be a college student it's probably really struggling. So how has that experience been?
It's been an experience. What can I say? It's continues to be very difficult to balance my time. I have a lot of extracurriculars as well as my studies at college. I have like all the acting classes, which are very like emotionally and mentally and physically draining. And I also have like academic classes. I do analog photography. I also do a women and gender studies class about women in music, specifically in like Africa and all these different parts of the world. Um, I take a lot of different writing classes as well, and I'm on the African dance team on campus, as well as being the marketing director for the Black Box Players, which is a theatre group that does like theatre productions and shows and events. So there's just a lot going on, and I think how I balance that is scheduling every single thing I have to do. So I have to schedule in breaks. I have to schedule in times to eat. I have to schedule in times to speak to people and make phone calls to like my family and friends and stuff because it's just so easy to get like sort of wrapped up in like everything you have to do. Um, and I think focusing on like human connection and my friendships, investing time into my friendships and into my family, and into things that have nothing to do with my work is definitely helps me stay grounded and is sort of a nice way to sort of disconnect from like all the busyness of life. But making time for that is definitely the main reason why I'm able to balance all the things that I do.
Yes. I started noticing too the importance of like mentorship, especially within COVID. I feel like my mentor is like, I hate to say this, but my mentor is kind of like my therapist. I rant out everything and I didn't notice how helpful it is just to talk to someone and say, look, hey, this is what's bothering me. But having someone to connect with and just say like, hey, like we're designers, like this is something we just go through, or saying like, it's okay, like I've been through this. I feel like having that connection is kind of what breaks that silence, or having having other people say like, I've do multiple things too and I'm able to balance it out, and even though it may seem stressful, like it can be relieving at the same time. And also as far as you guys' dreams, because I kind of want to dive into that too. you know Maxwell, like I understand you're into like UX UI, but I just wanted to go into like just relate, how does the mentorship or how has the scholarship help you with your dream, but also what is your dream? What do you guys hope to accomplish like moving further within you guys' careers?
Yep. So when I did design, when I at Innovators of Purpose, I really got a sense. I really got a sense of fulfillment, um, of understanding the inequities of Black designers, and I wanted to use design more from just pixel pushing, but to also um, to create a change in our world. So the mentorship has helped me because a lot of people, they like to see results. So when similar to what Micaiah said earlier, when you have the name Adobe Design Scholar, people are quickly interested in reaching out to you, and they want to know how you did this and how you did that. So even me just seeking their advice and wanting to seek my advice, just letting them know like how I did it and what you can do to help your chances. That's also like helping them, and I see fulfillment really doing that. And like I mentioned, like I really want to use design to help people, and yeah, just overall just help people else achieve their dreams.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say uh, thinking about it, a lot of what I want to do has to do with sort of experience and storytelling. I have learned like over my like studies in acting that it's sort of about bringing life to words on a page and bringing life to things that are like seemingly lifeless. And I think that's like something that I would love to do with my work. Whether that's like I'm on stage and I'm performing, or uh, I'm taking a photo of someone and I'm bringing their story off of sort of that still and allowing like the viewers to have their own interpretation of that. But I think it's just sort of very, very heavily based on storytelling through the different elements of each craft, combining them like lighting from photography into the performance of acting, into the colors and shapes and typography of graphic design. And I think all those things intertwined is just about providing an experience for people and an opportunity for them to sort of look into a perspective that isn't theirs. Um, And I think art is a very interesting way of challenging people without them having to put too much effort into it. So sometimes when you're seeing a piece of art, you don't really realize that it's challenging you to think in a different way. And I think that's what I want to do in the future.
I think these are like strong. I am so proud. I think that's another reason why I like the, the mentorship scholarship too. Not just being connected with the mentors, but also being connected with like other scholarship recipients. Like I feel like even the reasons why I went to art school too, I wanted to be surrounded by creatives who were, very passionate. And I think that energy bounces off from me and why I'm so inspired. And I kind of connect with Maxwell with what you said too, as far as making a social impact. And as far as being a Black designer as well, I feel like that representation is very important, especially going into this career. And I feel that, moving forward, I would like to, provide a social impact for people who, aren't fortunate enough to go to art school or go to design school, or who struggle with trying to figure out what's the next step, or, any of their struggles. I feel like my job is to help provide, that insight, or that insight that I get provided from my other mentors. It's okay to be different. It's okay to, express yourself a certain way. And I think, that's very inspirational of what you guys say as well. But yeah. Also, I don't know if we have enough time left, but do you guys have any final advice for any other young designers who are, in your shoes, or per se, any designers who are young
Yep.
designers?
Yep. So for me, I would say every action you do is going to lead to what result you want. So one of my favorite like inspirations to look at is Steve Jobs, and he made a quote saying, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." So how I look at that is you want to be obsessive with your passion. So, it could be late night, you may just don't want to do nothing, may play video games or watch TV. And you understand the consequence of that for the following day or the following week of your goals. Or you can just, tidy up and say, I'm going to work on this project. I'm going to work on this design work, and see that like return on investment pay off. So, I would say just really focusing and just diving in, like laser focus, tunnel vision, and just working on your projects. I would say people, you want to be obsessive with it. Just be obsessive.
I would say have faith in like what you're able to do with what you have. Don't sort of give into that imposter syndrome, especially, this is also a word for me because I started designing about a month before I found out about this scholarship. And so I didn't actually think that I was good enough to even apply. But I think having that faith in what I could do with the materials and the skills I already had really allowed me to sort of catapult myself into like taking that leap. And also like a quote from my favorite actor, Viola Davis, she says to, as an artist, you should be an observer of life. And I think paying attention to the world around you really benefits the work that you produce. And I think because a lot of the time, the work that we do isn't just about us, it's about other people, it's about who's going to be receiving that work. And so I think really, really paying attention to sort of the world we're living in is really, really beneficial.
I love that. I love that so much.
I have to say, I have goosebumps. You all are so powerful. And I'm just so appreciative to know you and for all that you're sharing. And, basically, I'm seeing some of that reflected in the chat too. Yaka Murphy, you're saying great views and inspiring perspectives. Thank you. Rock stars. Yes, absolutely. And Kristen asked if there's time, do you all have any requests of industry designers or academics? Wondering if you have anything that you want to ask of this amazing audience that you have right here. And Jonathan Rodriguez is here. He's one of your Design Circle scholars. Yay for supporting each other. Thank you.
Oh, thank you,
John, for being here. Any questions to put out to people?
Can you repeat
Maxwell?
the question? Like any questions to the audience?
Yeah, I think it's just one of these moments that you have, if you have questions, rather than sharing your perspective, if you had any, just like you ask your mentors,
Like ask
here
advice.
you've got all these amazing industry, designers and minds here, and every moment is a learning moment. Maybe you've got a question. I have a surprise for you all, though. Because one of these amazing people in the audience happens to be Lauren's mentor. And as she says, he's kind of her therapist too. So I would love
My
to
bestie.
just spin it around and ask Gus Granger to say just a couple words about what it's like on the flip side of being a mentor for these amazing people. Gus, are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes. Thanks,
Yay.
Gus. Hi.
Hey there. No, it's been a great it's a great program, period. But I think I really enjoyed getting to know Lauren, and I think it's wild. I've been in this for decades, and it's wonderful just kind of being able to have conversations. And there's a lot about I see in myself and her, and she's just so talented and driven, and being able to kind of go back in my own journey and be like, I wish I would have thought about this, or this way that you're feeling about this is totally normal and it's always going to be the same, or do this to kind of like avoid that. And it's great just to be able to, talk through those things, and just seeing her just thrive, and have successes after we chat. We get together every couple of weeks, and I look forward to it. So
well, thank you for that, Gus, because it's a commitment that is very loosely defined, and it's all up to you how you show up. And that's a big takeaway for me. You're giving your time. And so that question for industry professionals that I mentioned, I think that's what I'm going to propose, is that how can we do more of this? Because there's no such thing as too much mentorship. Right. So you all are invited to find me on LinkedIn. Let's talk about this. How can we provide more support for students in general, for emerging designers? Nothing is too much. So thank you, Gus, for saying hello, and for being one of these amazing supportive people. And I will I know we've been throwing links in the chat. I will throw the link in the chat again to apply for the scholarship. And Lauren, Maxwell, Micaiah, you are rock stars, and I really love seeing you here representing your life, your experience, and sharing so much. And I do have a question for Jasmine. This has come up. This is only an undergrad scholarship. Sorry, it's not eligible for graduate students. And I hear that I think that is a struggle. And if there's something I can do about it, I'll give it my best shot. So thank you for having us, everybody. And look forward to seeing what comes next in all of our scholars' lives.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tara, for pulling this together. And of course, the scholars, appreciated hearing from you, and Gus as well. And what's really interesting is this idea of like how important mentorship is. And I know you all were talking about, and then also in the chat that was coming up. And, even if you're not able to get one of these fantastic scholarships, you usually can always go out if if you're persistent enough and find someone to be a mentor. So that is something that all of us can do at any points in time in our careers.